Hello and welcome to the first ever podcast entitled Take It Easy.
Yeah.
Easy as in not EASY, but easy. See, that's branding.
If you didn't know, this is my wonderful dad, Country Earl, and I'm Zoe, hence the E and the Z. We've had this idea for a long time, actually, and we're just really excited to talk about anything that really comes
And
across our
everything.
mind. Yeah, and everything.
Like the choice of drink tonight is Borden Strawberry Milk.
And I was convinced that it was rotten, but he
No,
swears that it's
it's
not.
not. My milk does not have a bad day.
Well, where did we just come home from?
We just came home from the Clayton Lady Tigers defeating the Perry Central Lady Commodores.
And for the longest time, I actually didn't know how to pronounce Commodores, if I'm being honest.
Oh,
I didn't know how to pronounce it. I don't know the exact final score of that, but I think we won by 11. It
11.
was
Yep.
good
Uh,
game.
Lakeland is up to 10-8 on the year. And our boys are actually playing tonight over in Harlan, taking on the Green Dragons.
It's almost halftime over there. I just looked at
Yep.
the score. It was 27-18, I believe. Tigers leading, so doing good on that one.
Yep. So, what we're going to do here on this podcast is very informative and very educational.
Right.
We will bring you ideas, learning tools to help you survive and navigate your way through the thing that we call life.
Oh my goodness.
So that's basically what this is going to be about. And memories and common things and pop culture and entertainment, and sports, and all kinds of good things are going to be mixed in there. And we kind of like to do this, Zoe and I do. Uh, Her mother and I and her, we all love music.
Hmm.
I've been passionate about music my whole life. Anyone who knows me knows that, it runs in my blood. Now, it's been passed down to you, but we normally do a song of the day.
Hmm.
And I
Every
bet I
day.
can guess yours.
What do you think my song of the day is?
Purple Rain, Prince.
You would be right. And I will say, Purple Rain has become very popular due to the Stranger Things final
Yeah.
season. And I've actually never watched it in my life. I've never seen an episode of Stranger Things. I'm proud to say, grew up listening to that song, love that song.
hmm
Um, but a lot of people have just been singing it as of recently. So that is my song today. What
And,
about
and
what about
that's
you?
because, like you said, of Stranger Things. And a lot of
Yeah,
the great songs of yesteryear are a part of that show.
right. It's based in the 80s, so a lot of my favorite
Right.
songs are in the show. So I can get down with the soundtrack even though I haven't watched the episode. So what would
It,
you say your song of the day is? Do you have one?
yes.
You do have one.
Tiptoe Through the Tulips by Tiny Tim. Big hit. Was it
Please be serious.
late 60s? Oh, I wish I had a copy of it to play right now, but unfortunately I don't. It's in the vault down there in the basement. But no, I'm being
That's really
serious.
your song of the day?
Yes, Tiny Tim, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
I'm very afraid of that song.
Uh,
I'm
it's
very afraid.
it's a great song. You can crank it up, roll your window down
Oh,
when you're
yeah,
out cruising.
because I want to be going through downtown Manchester,
Well, when
just
we was younger,
like,
back in the
oh,
80s, we
mhm,
used to blast it, pick up chicks. When I was young and single.
right, playing Tiny Tim. Is that it?
Oh, great artist, just legendary.
Right. So, with that being said, we plan on doing a song of the day every week
hmm
because, well, every day we have a different song of the day,
Right.
but it changes drastically. Sometimes it's something as good and legendary as Purple Rain, or something as silly.
I have to say, one of the all-time great Super Bowl performances was when the rain started to fall
Yeah.
and Prince Rogers Nelson
Mhm.
continued playing on stage as the rain was blowing in. I know a lot of people that's probably listening to I remember that's cool. And normally around
Mhm.
electronics and all the amps and things of that nature, you'd want to start disconnecting and run off
Rain is
because,
not good for that.
right. But no, he kept playing the ending and the solo of that song, and I just thought it was one of the most incredible moments in the history of rock and roll. At the Super Bowl a few years back, of course, Prince passed away not long after that. But anyway, great song, great performance, and Purple Rain, certainly a good choice for Song of the Day.
Right. Um, I want to say that actually brings up a story which would kind of go into our topic of today's podcast. You probably
The
know
Travels.
yes, you probably know exactly what I'm about to say.
Oh, I know what you're about to say.
What am I about to say?
You're about to say that Nate Hubbard was jamming to that on the night that it's pouring the rain, was playing a football game this season
Hmm.
at Tiger Stadium.
Who was we playing? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to
Russell County?
remember.
Russell County? Was it Russell?
I don't think it was Russell
It was
County.
one. It was the first game of the season, right? First home game or second?
I'm trying to think. I can't remember, but it poured the rain.
Like poured the rain.
Yes. And it was so cool because several songs Nate was thrown in there. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Who'll
All
Stop the
had
Rain.
something to do with the rain.
Cold Kentucky Rain by Elvis Presley.
Hmm.
And people were talking and going over things. And then all of a sudden, Purple Rain comes on.
Right. And we actually weren't together at this time. You were still up in the press box. I was down waiting to see. Well, the officials, they were trying to make a decision on whether the
Yeah.
game should be played. They were talking with our AD, just making a decision. And I remember standing down there, and all of a sudden, well, think of a
Scott High School,
Scott.
because we
Not
had the topic.
Covington. Scott
Yes,
County or Covington Scott?
Covington Scott.
Okay.
We had the discussion
Hmm.
about
Oh,
them coming all the way back
yes,
from
they
Northern
didn't want to
Kentucky.
come back and play or something.
Well, I mean, they would have had them went home that night or
Yeah.
got the motel here and then had to play the game. But yeah, and it was just like a silence in the world
Imagine a
and a
dead
hush.
silent Tiger
Yes.
Stadium, and not a pouring rain at that point, but a misted
Yep.
rain, and
Then
all you
Purple Rain
hear,
comes on.
and those speakers are phenomenal at the Tiger Stadium,
Mhm.
and just imagine his vocals, and you're just no one is saying a word. A lot of people had left at that point. I think. Did we end up playing a little bit after that? Not much of the game after that.
Yeah, we finished. We didn't finish it. They came back.
But we kept playing after
Yeah.
that song, just for a little bit,
Just a little bit.
and then it started lightning again. And per KHSAA rules, you have to delay.
Yeah, 30-minute delay from the first lightning strike. And after that, the lightning's again, it prolongs
Yeah.
every 30 minutes. So
Gosh, we've had many a
it
long
was
night.
1 a.m. or something, finally called the game, and they agreed to come back.
Hmm.
Both teams had the same open on their Friday night in September. So we finished the football game, actually, the second half of it,
Hmm.
if I'm not mistaken, was that during the Manchester Music Fest. Because I think that was the open schedule or the week after. I can't remember for sure. Might have been the week after. Each team had the open
It
schedule.
might have been the week after because, of course, I'm very involved in the music fest and a lot of music festivals around here, which we will get to in the next podcast episode, I'm hoping. But I'm pretty sure it was the week after because I stayed at the music fest all weekend that
Yeah,
weekend.
probably was the week after that.
Yeah. So that was our most recent, kind of fun, very memorable moment, and that had a lot to do with my song of the day. But we actually have a few more stories we would like to talk about today. Basketball and football games that we've went to over the years, which you've done this way longer than I have done. I just enjoy the ride. The past few years, I've really gotten into it.
Well, you're a junior,
Yeah.
Clay High School, so.
Which
Yeah.
I started really traveling with you when I was in 8th grade, I believe. Like really going to the far games and being able to stay out late and not fall asleep because when I was little, I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think. We've had so many. I know for sure. I think we should definitely talk about our interesting night at Knox Central. This was at the middle school field actually. I was in 8th grade. This was one of the first games I'd ever went to that was kind of far-ish. Do you remember what happened that night?
You're talking Garrett County?
No, Knox Central.
Oh, yeah, Knox Central. Well, what happened is he had to do some repairs on the new Knox Central High School football field,
So we were playing at the middle school.
which used to be the high school's field too.
Yeah.
And the press box wasn't big enough.
Mhm.
So Jake and I and you, we all get there, and there was no room at the end. So we went to there was a electric pole near a wooden bench, and we hooked up our power supply there.
And this is what they suggested, by the way.
Mhm.
There was no other option.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have seen,
Yeah, there was nowhere.
And we had to have electricity for the equipment and
Mhm.
whatnot. So anyway, we get there and we go through that, and there wasn't any room in there. They had their media in there and whatnot, so we obliged and went across the field to the bench and hooked into the electric pole and started broadcasting.
Right. But
Couldn't sit on the bench
no,
because it
because
was a
it was
little bit
rotted.
deteriorated.
It was rotted.
Yeah, and
Jake, I actually have a picture, but Jake drug it through the caution tape. Actually, there was literal
hmm
caution tape, and so that was one of the first kind of odd experiences, I guess you could say, which you've experienced a lot because you've done this way longer
my
than
first
me.
game began that way. Odd
Odd.
experience.
Do you want to talk about your very first game you ever broadcasted?
My first game was the Clay County Lady Tigers in the Fayette County Invitational Tournament,
What year was this?
1991.
Mm.
And what happened was Joe Burchell and Jake Sandlin.
Mm-hmm.
That's after Wendell had already left the station. Joe and Wendell were the first two Carmack for the sports broadcasting. Then I always wanted to do it, and that was my lifelong dream and ambition was to do it. And it happened one day. Joe had strep,
Mm-hmm.
and he was going to go to Lexington to do the girls' game. And he said, "Man," he said, "I got to find some way to do a girls' game." And Wendell was working with the Federal Bureau of Prisons, couldn't do it. Jake was going to cover the boys, was going to do both games that night. So that was my first ball game. I get to Fayette County High School, and Jeff Deaton, which was the bus driver for the truck for the team, was going to be helping me do the games.
Mm-hmm.
We get there, and the telephone jack. Back then, there was no cellular.
Right. You had to
There was
physically
no
go
Wi-Fi.
plug up to a cell phone jack.
No phone jack.
Oh,
There's
not
a.
sorry, not
We
cell phone.
installed.
Right.
The radio stations did. Always installed your phone line when you
Mm-hmm.
went to another gym.
Right.
So I get there, and a coach of Tate's Creek tells me, she says, "Oh, yeah, sir, this happened in PE earlier this week. I meant to try to call your radio station. I forgot." Anyway, the phone box was busted all to pieces. That was part of it. So I'm sitting here, scared to death. It's the first game that I have an opportunity to live out my lifelong dream of doing Clay County High School sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I want it to go good. I'm scared to death. Then Bobby Fultz, Russell Gray, I think Chris Jones, Junior Gabbard, Jeff Deaton, they all kind of corralled in, and Russell was a phone guy.
Mm-hmm.
He retired from the phone company here in town, so they got the phone line working. So I couldn't have the equipment. For some reason, I couldn't run the cord long enough for the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just going to use my regular hand receiver from a phone call,
Right.
and Jeff and I would pass it back and forth. So we get ready to set a scores table, right? And the same lady who did not inform the station 3 days earlier, whatever it was, came to me and said, "Oh, you can't sit here at the scores table, sir." I thought, well, so I ended up sitting underneath the scores table on the gym floor and done my first ever ball game.
By the way, this is the first time I've ever heard the story,
That's true
believe it or
story.
not.
This is not me.
No, I promise this is true.
This is not Earlism because I remember a lot of
Earlism.
Clay fans. I was trying to remember, I'm sure that there's a bunch of them that may tune in this that were there and they can actually say, you know what, I remember that
Yeah.
because that was a team. But I got the satisfaction. They put me underneath that bench. We played Tate's Creek. That home crowd was wild.
Do you remember if we won that game?
Oh,
No.
the late
Oh.
Donnie Gray looked at me and he said, "Don't worry about it, Earl. They can put you on their table. Watch this ball game." We beat the dog tar out of them. and ended
Who?
up winning the Fayette County Invitational Tournament. We brought the big trophy home with us, and I thought, you know what? I'll sit at the table again to win three ball games.
Now, you said that this was in 1991. I don't remember. You probably do. Who were some of the girls that played for us?
Vonda Jackson,
Hmm.
Amanda Reed,
Dr. Rock?
yes, Angela Gray
Hmm.
was the point guard.
Well, she wasn't a rice
Uh,
at the time, but
Leslie Miller, Leslie Collins. I'm trying to think. Heather Bowling now. Let's see. Who else was on that team? I'm going to forget somebody if I start naming names. But those were some of the ladies.
right. I get my years mixed up, but
Oh, I do
obviously
too.
you remember.
Well, I remember that year, but if
Hmm.
you ask me anything else after that, everything is just kind of mushed together
Right.
as far as ball goes or anything like that. But yeah, it was fun. That was my first one.
That's a story that I've never heard before, but I'm very fascinated with it.
Well, that was actually the first game I ever done play by play. I think I actually got to do just kind of sitting in
Hmm.
with Joe and Wendell at one of the games at the old high school gym, which is the middle school now.
Right.
The Collecting Lady Tigers were playing someone that night, so they kind of let me
Hmm.
shadow them and
Right.
say a couple words on the air, but I didn't get to say much. But as far as doing a ball game all by myself, play by play and everything,
Hmm.
that was my first game.
Yeah.
I'd went with Wendell once, the Lexington Bryan Station, the Lady Defender Classic, and we done an afternoon game there for Clay County. But as far as you're doing this game tonight, that was my very first.
Yeah.
And I went back in the next morning, and Joe, which is a great guy, was a
Hmm.
great boss, Joe Burchell.
Hmm.
Uh, he looked at me and he said, "Well, there was a couple things you did wrong,
Oh.
but there's about a million things you done right. Congratulations, you're now the voice of the Lady Tigers." And I just,
And it happened just like that.
mm-hmm. So after that, I had to come home, change my pants, and went back to work,
Yeah.
because the excitement,
Yeah.
I had to relieve myself,
Yeah.
and I wasn't wearing my dark jeans. So,
And this is what I deal with every day of my life.
but no, um, had that chance, and you know, rest is history. Well, we had fun in Garrett County,
Oh. Yeah.
road
So
trips.
I will say, I was also in eighth grade for this one. This was another one of my first. That year in football, we played. A,
Garrett County.
well, yeah, we played a lot of teams that we could travel to. We traveled a lot. We didn't have
I
very many
think,
home games that season.
well, I don't think we had any. Was that the season that they was first started the new field, putting down the turf,
Possibly
and it
because we
wasn't ready?
played at Union that year
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yep, the
We
field wasn't ready.
Okay. So we traveled a lot that season, obviously. That was the same season that we traveled to Knox Central, which you heard that story before. But this time we went to Garrett County, a county I'd actually never been to, didn't know it existed. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, I was in eighth grade. This was just a normal Friday night, picked me up from school, and we went on our way because it's a pretty good trek out to Garrett
Lancaster.
County.
Mm-hmm.
Um, an hour?
That's longer than that.
Yeah.
Probably almost 2 hours.
So, the first thing I want to say about this trip that was actually a good part of this trip, we stopped at this little restaurant called
Yes.
the Burger House
Mm-hmm.
Restaurant, and I didn't get a burger. You didn't get a burger. I actually got pizza, I
And
want
I
to say.
got fries and a shake.
But when I tell you it was some of the best food,
It was
it
awesome.
was so good, and it was a cute little place.
Delicious.
You ordered at the window and you stood outside. It was a very retro looking place.
Mm-hmm.
You could go inside because I used the bathroom in there.
Yeah, we
You can
walked in. Mm-hmm.
you can go inside and it was very little, very small town, like middle of nowhere. But it was the coolest little place. And we always try to go somewhere like that when we do travel for sports and stuff like that. We try to go, you know,
Yeah,
make
we
the
mom
most.
and pop.
Yes. Make
We
the most of our trip.
celebrate, right? We celebrate what each local community has, and
Hmm.
if we stay longer, like if it's an all-day event or some tournament,
Yeah.
you play early and then go back and play. Like we done at Maria a couple times. You'd have a morning game and you
Yeah,
go
we
back
did do
late
that.
evening game. We always try to find a mom and pop
Hmm.
place to eat somewhere we've never eaten.
Yeah.
And I know if people know me, says Earl, his eating habits. I'm the world's biggest eater, but see, and all we do try.
You can always find something good to eat at places like that, though.
Yes, that is it. We try to support the local establishments because they're the backbone. of our
Mhm.
country.
Yeah, and well, people feel that way probably when they come to Clay County. You've got Pat's, you've got
Pizza Pro local,
yeah, that is like the
and,
local
and we're
crow's
saying local.
nest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're saying local restaurants.
Mhm. Right.
Of course, we have great restaurants here too,
We
but
do. Yeah. But local places like Pat's and stuff, a lot of people go there when they come and travel. So anyway, on with this story. I promise it progresses.
mm-hmm,
For the worst, kind of. But
not really.
well, we're being funny when we say that.
The people are nice.
You'll understand why. But after we went to the restaurant, we went to Garrett County, and you actually knew some other broadcasters over in
Right.
Garrett County. Very
Mm-hmm.
nice people. They had a pretty cool press box. It like opened up, almost
Yeah.
like an awning, and it
Mm-hmm.
was outdoors. It was very hot. It was the beginning of the football season. It wasn't yet cold. I want to say it was in like October, so it was about to get cold, but it was still kind of hot. I
Yeah.
vividly remember it was around my birthday. But I was still in middle school at the time. It was just me and you. I don't think did Jake go? Was Jake there? He might have been.
Yeah. Jake drove the bus.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then
you drove, and then Jake drove the bus.
right. And just to put into picture, if you I don't really know what year it was. Zach Saylor was still in high
Uh-huh.
school, was still playing football. That was
Right.
either his junior or senior year, and I can't really remember who else played that
Raven
year.
Abner was
Yes,
on the team.
yes.
But if I start throwing names, I'll forget somebody.
Yeah, I get mixed up with the years, but I know for sure because there was like a specific play from that night that had him involved, whatever. So I don't really know how this happened actually. I just remember watching the game, and I have videos from this night too, but I was just watching the game, and their fans are very similar to Rockcastle County, I will say. I feel like Garrett County and Rockcastle County has very similar fan bases when it comes to their behavior. Um, I'm sure they're great people, but they had cowbells,
Mm-hmm.
and I very much remember the cowbells. They were very loud all night long. Every time a call, you know,
And when we say cowbells, we're not talking about just somebody on their phone, but we're talking
actual
the
cowbells.
metal cowbells
Like
or the
they were
brass ones.
shaking them, and not just one person. The
Oh,
whole crowd had
yeah,
cowbells, and
you
it
could hear
was.
that from a mile
And
away.
I understand them getting excited for their team, but they would do the cowbells when they felt like a call wasn't right on their end. They were very upset at the refs all night. I vividly remember that. And I have a video of this, but there was a man, and he was screaming like, "That's horrible! You're horrible! This is horrible! Go home!" Da, da, da." I don't know how many people, probably no one from Garrett County is going to listen to this, but
Well, you never know, but it's nothing against Gary
no,
County. It's just the
absolutely
heat
not.
of the moment, a
Right.
sports event.
But I'm pretty sure you actually said something about the cowbells on the air, if I remember.
I can't even remember. It was
Um,
probably loud or something so loud. I mean,
yeah.
more cowbell
Well,
or
it was
something.
just very funny in the moment, whatever. We have absolutely nothing against them, but that was another funny story just of how rowdy their crowd was.
They were rowdy. You haven't seen rowdy.
What would you say is
Oh my
the
goodness.
rowdiest crowd you've been around? Football or basketball?
I can remember one night
Hmm.
Clay County defeated Kaywood.
And that's not even a school anymore, just a
Now
big.
that was, yeah, that's when it was James A. Kaywood High School.
Hmm.
And I can't remember the year. Again, I'm terrible with years. But anyway,
Hmm.
Angelo Smith hit a midcourt shot
Hmm.
at the buzzer,
Hmm.
and the Tigers won. Well, the students at Kaywood was just upset, you know.
Oh no,
So they was on the floor and stuff.
I've never heard this story
So we
either.
sit there. Well, I mean, it's not bad, but
Right.
Mike Ashurst, I think, he was either AD or assistant principal, maybe athletic director too. He got up and told us all the way to clicking at people. And some of the security had escorted the bus drivers out, got the buses, pulled them up, and security took the team out and then took the Clay County fans out. Because, I mean, they obviously,
Right. A
like I
very
say,
heated game.
right,
Was
it
that
was a
like
heated
our
game.
rival at the time?
Well, I mean, everybody was Clay County's rival.
Right.
I mean, you always, every team comes to play Clay County.
Hmm.
They give us their A game. I mean, it's always been that way due to the winning tradition of Clay County High School. And
Yeah.
that's the way it is. So we have to take everyone's best game. But anyway, we got out and things was great. And got a lot of friends there, even kids that played for Kaywood there. I've got to know as adults in life, and they remember. We kind of joke around about it,
Yeah.
but yeah, just instances. Another instance, the coldest I've ever been in my life, I think.
Hmm.
Montgomery County, Mount Sterling, Kentucky. The
Which
Clay
is
Tiger football team, which is near,
pretty far.
yeah, it's
Is
far.
that near Winchester?
Yeah,
Okay.
it borders Clark County, then maybe Fleming or Robertson, Bath County, all
Okay,
those
yeah.
counties together. But left here on a Friday afternoon,
This was football or basketball?
football,
Okay.
and you was talking about how the front press box opened up
Hmm.
for Garrett County.
Was it the same there too?
Same there too. With the exception of they had these big, huge pine trees, not blocking view, but was on the sides,
Yeah.
and it shaded the press box. Press box is on a little hill.
Hmm.
So we leave Clay County, and I never will forget this. It was like this was in probably right before Halloween, and it was like 68 degrees. So I'm just wearing a t-shirt.
Right. This isn't deep into football season yet. You wouldn't expect it to be very cold. Not yet.
Left here, got down there, and they had to open up the.
Did you ride the bus that night?
No,
Okay.
I
Rode
think
with
it was
Jake?
me and Joe and Wendell and Jake might have been there
So
too.
this
Yeah.
was very early days
Oh,
still.
this is yeah. Fred Rogers was actually with us.
Well, Fred Rogers.
He was actually with us, and we stopped at the Burger King to eat. And Jonathan might have been with us too.
Which
Jonathan
Jonathan,
was with us.
yeah.
Anyway, and that's when the lady asked Fred, "Was it for here where to go?" And Fred looked at her and says, "No, ma'am, it's in for that corner over there. That's where we're going to be sitting." But anyways, but we get there, right? And I'm in a t-shirt, and it is like the temperature plummeted
Right. Because it was what,
all
60 something?
evening. 68 degrees we left here.
Right.
But I'm a young, ambitious guy, probably, I don't know, 23, 24, about 22, I think. And get there, they open that press box up, and the wind starts just monstrously blowing. I mean, you can
Oh,
see these pine trees laying up,
goodness.
and it was blowing in on us. And I'm telling you, the temperature when we got back in the vehicle to come home, it was at like 26 degrees. But the wind was blowing so hard. We froze to death. Everybody in the press box was
Not
freezing.
just you in the
Well,
t-shirt,
there
but
wasn't
everybody.
heat. There wasn't a heat or nothing.
Right.
I mean, it was a standard press box.
Hmm.
Had your phone lines in there, electricity, but there wasn't any
They
heaters in there.
definitely wasn't as fancy as they are now.
Oh no! I mean, today they're staying at the Ritz or something
Yeah.
compared to what they used to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it was what it was.
Right.
But that's the coldest I've ever been in my life. Then does a good trip to Belfry.
Oh, well, speaking of cold, that was a cold night for me.
Yeah, it
Not the
was.
coldest I've ever been. Not at a football game. I'll tell you about that in a second. You can probably predict what I'm talking about. But we
Hmm.
we traveled to Belfry. This was my freshman year of high school because I had Mr. McGlone in class and I had Brian Samples, which is a very good friend of mine still, one of my mentors in school. And I remember talking about, you come early. You signed me out at like 1 o'clock to
Hmm.
go to Belfry because this is a trek. This is almost in West Virginia.
Yep.
And we actually did cross the West Virginia line.
We
We
just
went,
went sightseeing though. Me
we,
and you did
yeah,
before the game. We
yeah,
just want to go across the river.
yeah. And it's, how far would you say Belfry High School is from the line? Because we crossed it very easily.
No, it's not far at all.
Like 5 minutes, even that?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes.
It's on the main
Yeah.
end of Kentucky. I actually felt like we were driving forever. We stopped in Pikeville to eat. I do
Hmm.
remember that. We stopped in Pikeville. First time I ever had Moe's, by the way. I'll always remember that, and it was
Yeah.
so good. You thought that there was a steak and shake there, and they got rid of it, and you had to eat at McDonald's. I remember
Hmm.
that too.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not the point of this story. So we crossed the West Virginia line. We went over to that little mall, just sightseeing, seeing what was there. There was absolutely nothing in that mall. But we come back out. We got there pretty early, but just to make sure we get there on time, because it was, God, 2.5 hours, more than that.
More than that used to be before they had the new road built.
Hmm.
It would take you 3.5 hours to get there
Yeah,
because it's a little curvy.
it's not a bad road now.
No,
It's
it's
almost
super
a straight
highway.
shot.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's interstate
Once you
now.
get to Pikeville, you just
Yeah,
go.
you can be there in 20 minutes. outside of Pikeville. It takes about two
Yeah.
hours 15, 2 hours 20 minutes, something like that. I think I can be to the Pikeville Walmart the last time I drove it by myself. I think I got there like an hour and 53.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm
Well,
just
from
a
the
nerd.
arena, it's not that bad either.
No, it's about 2 hours.
Because we've seen a lot of
If
concerts there too.
traffic is flowing, be
Right.
there in back 2 hours.
So we get to Belfry High School. Everything is normal. They
Yeah.
had, I do remember this. They had a whole team of students that come
Mm-hmm.
and checked on us. All the media team, super awesome people.
Brought us drinks,
And food,
food.
had
Yep.
refrigerators in there. They had a checklist, anything we needed, and they had a name too. Like they were something, which Clay County doesn't have this. I'm not sure that any school around here has like that
They were
hospitality team.
that might have been what it's called,
Right.
but they were earning credits.
Yeah, like this was a part of like their schooling. Like this was a
Mm-hmm.
class. It was probably just something to do with media. I know some schools around us have that.
But if you said like, "Hey, there, Dr. Pepper in that cooler," you didn't move.
Yeah,
Door would
yeah,
open, they'd bring you a Dr.
yes.
Pepper. I mean,
And
it's phenomenal.
and I remember this was my freshman year of high school in about November. So
Well, it's later in November.
it
Well,
was the
right in
end
November.
because it was the last. Was it a playoff game or
It
it
was
was the last
the
regular season
it
game?
was probably November, the first week of November playoffs. Yep, because it's the first playoff game. Halloween is usually your last regular
I
season.
swear it was late November, but it couldn't have been.
Mm-mm.
Well, anyway, I get my dates mixed up, but um game, I mean, was going good. I think they beat us pretty badly.
Well,
Didn't
they
they?
was number one in the state
Yeah.
and probably one of the best football teams in America that
And this
year.
is when their football coach was
Philip
still
Haywood,
alive. Such a good guy. Such a good guy.
super guy. He truly was a super guy. Passed away last year
Yeah.
from
I didn't think it was longer than
complications from an auto accident. But Belfry went on to win the state title that year. They beat
yes.
us. They went on to win the state championship.
Yes.
So you can imagine. I mean, you go on the road, your place. But
Well, that was the farthest I had ever been. I'm pretty sure for football. For
yeah,
basketball, that would have to be, I want to say, Clinton County. So is that
maybe
Albany?
yes.
Okay, then that is the farthest because I remember when, which that's a whole nother story. But um, gosh, I was small.
Yeah.
I was still in elementary school. This was a whole different group of girls. This is when we played very far places. And it was a tournament, though, because we went back the next day. And I remember Ivy Berthold took us to this really cool gas station. We all
Yeah.
got food. And I had a speaker in the back with the girls. I was in like third grade. Felt like the queen of the world. But anyway, sorry, got a little sidetracked. Belfry High School, it was halftime, I
Hmm.
believe. And, you smoke. I step out to talk with you, whatever. We normally do our little debrief at halftime. We just talk about whatever, because I'm just there hanging out, taking scores sometimes. I just go just to kick back and just enjoy him doing his thing. So, I want to say it was me, you, and Jake.
Oh, it was. Jake was still driving the team bus then.
Yes.
So Jake had already brought
And
the
Wormy had not yet started yet. I
no
think he started the next
the
year,
year after that. Yep.
my sophomore year, yeah.
Hmm.
So we went out to halftime. It was pretty cold, not like it was probably like 40 something degrees. Because I remember I videoed us freezing our tails off, and then come the Belfry High School marching band.
I'm telling you, the quickest change of pace of music I ever heard in my life.
It was completely normal. We were enjoying halftime,
Slow, just
normal
slow.
band, just like Clay County band would be playing, and all of a sudden we're freezing, and you looked at me, and it sounded like war was about to start.
It was like a fast forward button. The band was rushing to get back into the locker room or something. I mean, it went from slow to tremendously fast,
This
I'll
was the
say.
funniest, and honestly, you wouldn't understand unless you heard the
Yeah, you had to
video,
be there.
which I have it on video. But it was the funniest thing, and that was the farthest I had been for
Hmm.
football, and one of the coldest I've ever been. But there was actually even
I
colder
can tell you that game, the coldest for you,
for
not for
me.
me, but
Where
it
was
was
it?
cold hazard.
Hazard.
We stayed on the back porch or side porch.
And this wasn't because they were rude or anything. Those guys are amazing, but they have a lot of people that do media over there, so we kind of had no choice but to be
Yeah,
outside with
and it was a
someone
small
else
press box too.
pretty small. So, if any of you all had been over to Hazard's football field, You are in a holler. Like you are literally in what feels like Oneida here. Like you're in the holler. I felt like we drove forever down in a holler. And you have to walk like downhill, almost like Leslie County football field. You have to walk downhill down into Haggard. That big like slant
Uphill.
downhill.
Well, I mean, you got to go uphill to get to the press box, then come downhill,
Well,
leaving.
what I meant is the field was downhill.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
like in a little valley.
anyway, tons of trees surrounding us. Like we were literally in what felt like Oneida. Literally, Tejas Creek is where I felt like we were. And I had a t-shirt on and a jacket and some leggings. I remember what I was wearing. Nothing too crazy because I didn't think it would feel like Christmas. Wormy was with us at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me, you, Wormy, Jake.
Yeah.
And we were all standing. We wasn't sitting. We were standing to see over. It was literally like a porch to like a trailer. That's legit what it was. And I want to say it was kind of wet too, and I meant to go find some friends, but I ended up staying with you guys just because I didn't really know the layout of Haggard, whatever. And I want to say it was later on into the football game. It just kept getting colder and colder and colder, and at one point during the night, I was legitimately in your shirt, inside of your t-shirt. I was in your shirt, in your hoodie, in your jacket. I literally burrowed myself in there.
It's cold.
I have never felt so cold. And I couldn't go back to the car because it was a very long walk to the car and I was afraid. But I want to say that was my sophomore year, right? Yeah. I'm a junior now, so I want to say that was
No, your freshman year. It wasn't last year.
okay.
Yeah, it's been 2 years ago.
Um, but it was so cold. It was so cold. And I remember that game got kind of heated too. There was a few tussles back and forth between the teams, but that's expected with a lot of games around here. So that was one of the coldest times I had ever experienced since, he shared that with you all. But what this next story is a little more recent, and this is basketball. We've talked a lot of football. This is basketball. And I don't know if you know what I'm about to say. Um, I'm pretty sure I was a freshman at this time. We were at Jackson County High School, a school we play a lot for basketball. We don't play them in football, but for basketball, we, district, we're over
Right.
there a lot. So
Oh, yeah.
this is funny to me. I had never done anything like this. We got there pretty early, and if you guys know anything about the layout of Jackson County High School's gym, there is two big platforms, one of which PRTC uses to film and do their media over there, and then another platform up on the second set of bleachers up at the top where other media radio stations where, visitors go.
Yeah.
And it was just a big open platform. Used to have a rail, used to not have anything else. You just stepped up into it. It was nothing. So I want to say they only done this about 3 years ago. They added a wall.
Mm-hmm.
They had built on a wall, and they didn't build on a wall to the other side, did they?
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't. And and so anyway, where I was, he's sloshing around his strawberry milk.
About drinking.
He is sitting here drinking strawberry milk, which we're not trying to be completely serious anyway. This is a lot of fun for us and you all. Um, but anyway, so the layout of that gym, they had recently built a wall and there was a door. So we got up to the door, and the door was locked.
Mm-hmm.
We jostled it. I tried to get in, whatever. It was locked. I felt like nobody was there because we got there pretty early. I want to say it was a girl boy doubleheader. I'm not completely sure, but we got there around like 5-ish. It was early.
It was early.
Something might have been earlier than that. I want to say we went right after school. I can't really remember, but um, anyway, we, tried to find whoever could help, a coach, athletic director, anybody there that could help us. Nobody was there.
Well, they
Nobody
didn't have a key.
Well, yeah, they could. That's what it was. They couldn't find the
Yeah,
key.
because the door was locked.
So I looked at the door and I said, let's try something. Let's try something. I had never had to do this, by the way. There was a small little slither of space in between where the wall was and the brick wall, but it was kind of pushed back because there was a window, so there was space to go.
Yeah.
So when I tell you, my father pushed me up into the window and I shimmied my way through the door, jumped off the brick platform, and I felt like I almost broke both my ankles, and I unlocked the door from the other side, and that was that. But I had never had to do anything like that, and I thought that was pretty memorable because I had to slither,
Yeah.
shimmy my way through. Um,
But the game got on time.
it did on time, and thanks to who?
Me. genius.
That totally did not suggest this. This was my idea to shimmy my way through the
Yeah, but
the
you
crack.
shimmied in.
I
That's
did.
good.
I shimmied in. Um, so that is a lot of the stories that I can think of tonight. I don't think we're missing anything. We've talked about
Oh, there'll be
CODIS.
more to come.
There will be. But this week we really wanted to, a lot of people that are going to be tuning into this podcast know kind of the history behind these stories. Um, they've kind of been along for the ride as long
Oh,
as
yeah.
you've been along for the ride. And I know a lot of people will get a kick out of these inside stories, all the different traveling we've done. And I know it's not going to end here. We've done a lot of traveling. Well, we didn't do a whole lot of traveling for football this year, but we've done some for basketball so far. Um, and it'll just keep getting better and better. So we just kind of wanted to go through some of our favorite stories from traveling this week. And next week, I think we're probably going to discuss concerts we have been to the get together because
Recipes.
recipe. No.
Hemming. The process on how to hem
Like we
jeans.
said, this is going to be very educational, life
Makeup.
tips, makeup.
Makeup tips.
Yes.
I'm very good when it comes to stuff like that.
You should work on like QVC, sell the jewelry and the
Yeah,
makeup. You
the
could
makeup
definitely.
stuff. Yeah.
hmm But
These
what I
jeans
was
do make my butt look fat. They do.
But okay. So what I was seriously trying to get at was next week I'm pretty sure we're going to discuss concerts we've been to because we've experienced very fun ones together,
Mhm.
but you have been to so many before I was even an idea. You and
Yeah,
mom have went to so many together. A lot of cool memories and stories that we're obviously gonna have to share.
during my
Um,
BS days with a lot of them.
right.
I
So
mean, before Sherry,
yes.
BS. Yeah.
He
Then
traveled with
we
Jonathan Rogers. If you're listening to this, you're going to be mentioned a ton next week.
several. Yeah,
But they were great concert buddies,
my
and I love
brother and
yes,
Paul Burns.
Paul Burns.
Oh, you get to concerts next week. I'll tell you a story.
We definitely have a story on Jonathan Rogers and Paul Burns. So if either one of you guys are listening to this, you will be mentioned in next week's
Me and
episode.
Danny and Paul. I don't know if Jonathan was with
Don't
us.
spoil too
No,
much of the
I won't.
story.
But me and Danny and Paul went to a concert in Rough, and I'll tell you
Was
about
it
that one.
Kiss?
Yeah,
Yeah. They
that's
have
right.
been.
It was me and Danny and Paul to
Was
that
that the
one.
one Eric Clapton? Or no, not Eric.
That was a Psycho Circus tour.
Whose wife did you meet the one time? They were out in
Oh,
the
Peter
crowd.
Frampton.
Why did I say Eric Clapton? Anyway,
We're
Peter
great
Frampton.
guitarists.
Okay,
We'll talk about that too. You have
so
right
that's in
anyway.
next week's
Mm-hmm.
episode. Just to wrap this up, we've had so much fun.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's gonna keep getting better. We talked about our song of the day already, which is a bit that we're probably gonna do every week. You said tiptoe through the tulips. I don't believe that. I think
Tiny Tim.
you could have come up with a more.
That's what you sing. High
I
pitched
know, I'm
voice,
very afraid of
trembling
that song.
voice.
And mine was Purple Rain, one of the best halftime performances, which we discussed earlier. We have what's crazy. It's kind of fascinating. High schoolers, it's coming. That type of music is coming back thanks to Stranger Things, but it's really coming back. Like history is repeating itself
Yeah.
all day today. We have sung like I never wanted to be your weekend lover.
Mm-hmm. You Mitch Leanne.
Yes, which I don't know if she's going to listen to this podcast or not. I'm probably going to force her to. She's my best friend, one of my favorite teachers ever. But we sung that all morning this morning. I have her. She's a culinary teacher at Clay County High School. But we sung that all morning this morning, and we all did. Everybody in the class.
Mm-hmm.
Such a shame our friendship had to end, and I know.
Great song, great artist.
Yeah, but with that being said, thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode of the
Yeah.
Take It Easy podcast. And we will see you next week. You want to say bye?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.